Not going to talk for long on this video, just to highlight what this video is. It's the second recording that I had with a social worker from Doncaster Social Services. What I need to say at this point is that already they have tried to close down my other video of the recording with the same social worker. Now on that video, and please YouTube, please make a note of this when it comes to data laws, is she has already announced on that video that I played a recording to my ex-partner of another social worker. They never questioned that. They never raised the fact that they wasn't happy with that. And at this point, what you won't know, YouTube, is they have been aware for quite a few years that I record myself with these people and the reasons why. So that information is now privy to you before you decide you're going to take any actions on trying to get this video removed. That not once have they objected or disapproved myself of recording them, knowing full well that this information and these recordings have and will be shared with other third parties. They are aware of that by emails and other correspondence, so I don't expect no more emails from you, YouTube, telling me that someone's raised a complaint. If they want to raise it, they take it up with myself. Thank you. Right, anyway, what this second video is going to highlight is, again, said social workers manager phoning me up, confirming that they did an assessment, that they had no concerns. You'll also hear during this call is that I've mentioned about Amber wishing to let me start seeing Emily, and that they're going to be doing an assessment. You'll hear that the Sheffield advised myself, and I read out what they've advised me, and this manager is denying any contact. Again, when it came to my social report wrote for court, there has been no mention of any of this within the social report. So again, why not? I've been assessed. I've got a social workers manager who is familiar with the other members of social services within Sheffield, as she advertises that she was their manager, but yet they don't have no correspondence anywhere. Now, others have said to me, Jay, surely they'll just doctor it. Listen, they can doctor all they want. I've got so much paperwork and email trails and everything else and raising this, why it wasn't there many years ago. So any changes that they try doing at this point is just going to make them look goddamn silly, because I've got more than enough to contradict and contrahand everything that they're going to bring to the table. I'm going to produce nothing but the truth, and it's for them to determine that it's not, or fight why it's not. Like I said, they try to shut me down. I will be putting this on other social sites and other third party sites whereby their laws aren't covered by any fucking data protection laws that are going to get me into trouble. Anyway, so this is the video, the recording of the social worker. Enjoy. Hello,
Hello, is that Mr. Lowe?
it is.
Oh, hello, it's Amy Mackenzie from Doncaster.
Hiya, love. Thanks for
Hi,
giving me a
I've had
call
your
back.
message.
Yeah.
Sorry it's a bit late. I've been in a meeting all afternoon.
No worries.
So how can I help you?
What it is, I believe that you've been contacted by a social worker from Sheffield.
I haven't had any conversations with social workers from Sheffield.
Oh, well, they told me they had. It was a lady called Claire Bullivant, who I'm dealing with, and she said that she'd spoken to you, because I passed on your name and number from when I spoke to you previously this year.
Mhm.
Because what it is, like I said, my daughter's mum's finally decided that I can start seeing my daughter, so there was trying to figure out whether a risk assessment would be needed or not. And the social worker I spoke to in Sheffield has told me that they're going to be putting forward for a risk assessment to be done based on the information that they've received from yourself.
Okay, well, I can't say what they might have received from Doncaster because obviously I don't know that information. But in relation to conversations with me, as me personally, I have had no conversations regarding your case since June with Sheffield Social Services. So
Oh.
I don't. I don't know where that information's come from.
Yeah, well,
They could have spoken to somebody else and been confused about who they spoke to. But in terms of conversations about your case, I haven't spoken to anyone from Sheffield Social Services since I last spoke to you in June.
oh, because what they're saying is, like I say, is that they're basing a risk assessment on the information that was received from yourself, and I've got really confused with it because our last conversation that we had was the social services in Doncaster weren't the ones that were saying that there were concerns, and you said that it was from a third-party source.
Yeah, what I said was that the referral we received was from a third-party source, and that's the information that was there. Yeah.
So I'm just really confused with it all. Because like I said, this social worker I was speaking to, this Claire Bullivant, she was from it's like another team.
Sheffield. Yeah. No, actually I do know Claire Bullivant, and the reason why I know her is because I used to manage her team before I moved to Doncaster in May.
Right.
Because I'm originally a team manager from Sheffield.
So you'll know Joe Barnsley as well, then, won't you?
Yeah, I do. Joe Barnsley.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I'm not sure if I know Joe Barnsley. That's her name.
Joanne Barnsley, her name is, but she prefers Joe rather than Joanne. So.
No, she might be in a different area, but I know Claire Bullivant. But I haven't had any conversations with her. She hasn't phoned me about your case, while I've been here at Doncaster.
Oh, well, it's alright because it's getting allocated to a social worker, but they tell me that could take a couple of days. So, like,
yeah, it can take a couple of days. All I can say is she might have got confused because she knew my name, because obviously I used to work there. I don't know what's happened, but maybe she's got confused about that. But I've not had any conversations with Claire since I left Sheffield.
I don't know. Like I said, I gave her your name and I gave her Fiona's name, and I said, there were involvement with social services regarding my ex-partner and I explained to them how I was involved. And I says, my last conversation with Amy, she was quite clear on it because she reiterated twice during the conversation that it wasn't social services that were showing concerns, it was that they received information from a third party, which I found out since is the police. So.
Yeah, I mean, what I've said to you is that I can't tell you who that third party is, and what I've said is that the referral was from a third party. I'm not able to, give you any more details than that.
I understood that.
I don't know if you gave Claire Bullivant Fiona's name. I don't know whether Fiona might have spoken to anyone. I'm just looking over at her actually because she's at the office late with me, and she's saying no, she's had no conversations with anyone from Sheffield either regarding your case.
Oh, well, that's really alarming then, because like I said, when I spoke to Claire yesterday, I spoke to her the day before, and it was the day before that I gave her both of your names. And then I spoke to her yesterday because she was supposed to be calling me back yesterday, but she didn't, so I ended up calling the office. And I said, well, have you spoken to Doncaster Social Services, the names that I gave you? She says, yes, I've spoken to them, and they're turning around and saying that they've got concerns. So that's why we're putting a referral in for a risk assessment to be done.
It's possible, just from what you said there, that it's possible that she's been confused and said that she meant that she's spoken to Doncaster Social Care, so she might have spoken to somebody in R&R.
No, because I asked her specifically, once she said that, I asked her specifically, well, have you spoken to either Fiona or Amy? And she goes, yes, and they're saying that there was risk concerns. And I'm like, well, that ain't what they were saying to me. They were telling me they would come from a third party. When I spoke to them back in June, and she's like, no, she says, that's what they've said, and that's why I spoke to my manager about it, and we're putting forward for a risk assessment to be done, and the social worker will be in contact with you in due course.
I mean, obviously, when I spoke to you, what I did say was that the referral had come through due to concerns raised by a third party.
Yeah, I know it always is, because, like I say, I've got violence on my record. I can't deny that, so I always know that it does. The police are the ones that always say this, that, and so on. Yeah, so.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, no, I can confirm. To be honest, I was surprised to get the message. Which is why I thought I'd ring you back now rather than leave it, because I'm not in work tomorrow. So I thought, oh, that's an odd name. I hadn't expected to hear from him. I mean, I will say that obviously, if they did contact us, we would have to share any information that we thought we needed to. Yeah. But I haven't had those conversations with Sheffield.
Yeah, but by all means, like I say, I've got nothing to hide. I'm just so happy that finally the mum and my daughters realised that it's in the best interest of my daughter that she knows who her family is and that. So it's one step closer than what I was. So I appreciate that. It's just,
like I say, I'm so used to things getting said within social services that one person said this, one person said that, but then it's like, well, I've spoke to that person, they've not said that to me, so.
And do you have parental responsibility for your daughter?
No, that I'm gonna have to get all that sorted out. Like I say, it's because me and her mum weren't married, and she's not put me on the birth certificate anymore. She couldn't put me on the birth certificate because I weren't there. So no, that's something that I'm gonna have to sort out in the meantime. But I'm just more happy that I'm actually gonna get to start seeing my daughter, however that happens. But
yeah, I mean, a risk assessment is a really positive thing for you, Mr. Lowe, because it gives you that opportunity to have those conversations with the social worker, and for them to update, any concerns they have and talk to you about them. So you should get a full disclosure of any concerns that Sheffield have in relation to you and your daughter.
Yeah. I want to say, what the part that did me is that my last involvement with social services were over 10 years ago, and the outcome of that is that I actually won one of my children back into my care. The other one, his special needs were too much, and they believed that I didn't have the skills that he needed.
You needed better than good enough parenting.
But I actually got one of my children returned to me, and I'm like, well, why are you referring to? They're going back to when my children were taken into care, and I'm like, well, that was 2000. What were it?